Now this is the story of a boy named Robert. We start his story in his childhood home. He sits inside watching the Disney Channel. Upstairs, his parents slumber. His mom dreams of their yesteryears when her husband could still make sweet, and tender love to her. You see, in his yesteryears, Robert's father fathered many children and spread his seed throughout the land. He had quite the legacy, and that legacy was going to need to be carried on by Robert. But you see, there was a problem. Something wasn't quite right about Robert. He was weak, and his father knew. As his mother slumbers on and dreams of her younger years and the long, long nights with the football team, something strange happened. A pair of ghost dogs gathered outside. Something terrible was going to happen tonight. Earlier that day, Robert's father had purchased a large amount of Viagra. He put it into his food and gobbled them down. He wanted to give his wife what she wanted. He went upstairs and talked to her. She seemed excited. They crawled into bed and began making love. It began to heat up, hotter and hotter, sweatier and sweatier, moister and moister. One could only imagine the stench in that room. Robert's father had eaten so much ass, at this point he was covered in it. You could see the stink stains coming off of him. His heart was racing, like nothing he'd ever felt before. And he stood up. Something wasn't right. You see, Robert's father had fucked himself. Fucked himself straight to death. Robert's life changed drastically after his father's death. He moved out soon after, growing older and older. He's grown up to be a young strapping lad. Make his father proud, you might say.
This is so fucking bad.
His day-to-day activities included him eating grilled cheese sandwiches and jerking off. Some days things would change. Today, his old friend Tracy called him. She wanted to go out. Robert decides to go. He needs to get out of the house. He's still sad after his father's death. He needs to spend time in the mirror hyping himself up. He needs to find a woman. He needs to spread his steed like his father once wanted him to do. He goes back downstairs ready to pounce on the first woman that he sees. And then she walks in. Her hair was smooth, brunette, beautiful. Her skin was like a walnut, soft yet coarse. He wanted to pin her to the wall and give her his nut. Her hips sway back and forth like a leaf in the wind. Her skin the color of a beautiful coffee mocha that he wanted to slurp down himself. He was nervous. He was going to talk to her, but he was afraid. He watched from a distance, thinking about what he would say, how he should introduce himself. Make Daddy proud, he thought. Make Daddy proud. First he thought, maybe I should introduce myself in a funny way. No, that would be foolish. Maybe just a friendly hello. No, the funny way was the way to go. But then she walked by. Robert's spirits dropped very low at that point in time. How was he supposed to impress his father's spirit? Tonight was a failure, but he'll get him again. Hey, can you shut the fuck up? He decided to walk home. Tonight was a failure, but he'll get him again next time. Robert sat on his couch and cried. The previous night hadn't been successful. He decided to treat himself a little bit. He walked downstairs, decided to go to bed. But first, he jerked off one more time, just to make sure. He went to the bathtub. He needed to wash off his filth. But then suddenly something happened at his doorway. It appeared as though his neighbors wanted to introduce himself. He sat down taking the fattest shit of his life, and they rudely interrupted it. He wasn't pleased. These fucking cucks weren't worth his time, he thought. I need a babe, and these bitches ain't worth fucking. They're too goddamn fat, and that bitch is too old. But then off in the distance, he saw someone. Was this a babe? Was this a babe that he could pounce on? He moseyed over. This one wasn't going to be like the last one. She wasn't quite the walnut like the last one. She was more of an almond, maybe peanut. Skin white. If she peed, he would nut for sure. You know what I'm saying? He's after, as we all do when introducing ourselves. Classic pickup line. She seemed to dig it. She even consoled him. Could this be the one? Could this be his true love? She wasn't like the other women. He decided to go home because he was getting tired. His fucking neighbors were still over there. He went downstairs and quickly went to sleep. Then someone else arrived. Oh no. It's Alfonso. It's fucking Chad of a brother. Robert had a love-hate relationship with Alfonso. He was a Chad, but he was also his brother. And he loved him. See, I got heart. Robert and Alfonso got together. They laughed and joked about their younger years when father was still alive. But Robert was still tired, so he went to bed. But then there was another surprise visitor. The girl he had met outside, she came over. Alfonso was sitting upstairs. He decided to introduce himself. Robert was still asleep though. He couldn't do anything to stop Alfonso. But he knew that his brother would respect his boundaries, not do anything too hastily. His brother and his new bride started to talk. Things were going well for them, a little bit too well. Alfonso was a true Chad and was moving in on Robert's woman fast. If Robert knew, he would be so fuming. Oh no, Alfonso was making move on Robert's woman. His Chadness was irresistible to women. Oh my god, she was so wet. This peanut wasn't as dry as your usual peanut, if you know what I'm saying. Alfonso was showing her his smooth moves. And then the worst happened. Alfonso moved in on Robert's women. He was touching her. Things were getting hotter and hotter. Robert still slept on beneath. Alfonso was going too far. Robert loved this woman. This was his true love. Things were not going well upstairs for Robert. He still slept on. Alfonso was really making his move, let me tell you what. God, he was really going down on that peanut. Alright, yeah. Things were getting just hotter and hotter every second. Robert was never going to be like his father, but at least Alfonso could be. Robert awoke. He took his after nap time shit and went upstairs. Alfonso walked past with his pants down. Nothing suspicious about that, Robert thought. Then he went upstairs. The girl he had met earlier seemed to have something on her face. He couldn't quite tell what it was, but he thought it was just nice that she had showed up. Then Robert's father appeared. He wasn't impressed, for he knew what had happened, what had gone down on that very couch that Robert was sitting on, and he went back.
I'm sleeping in his bed.
Alfonso even went and slept in his bed. Robert had failed his father, but that was just today. He wouldn't give up so easily.